If you could magically erase the memory of a movie you've seen, what movies would you pick maybe?
Is this for the purpose of enjoying it again or because I hated it that much?
Wow, I guess you could go both ways. Let's start with the fun one. You want to just relive the movie, and obviously you can't do like A New Hope or something like that because it would kill the continuity and
Sure.
all the after effects of.
So you couldn't do a series like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, or you shouldn't do it. Maybe it would be weird. This is all magic anyway, so
Sure. Yeah.
let's say it's just a one-off movie that you just really enjoyed.
I'm drawing a blank on the name, but there was one in the 90s where the whole movie plays in backwards sequence.
Is that Memento?
Memento.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
It's ironic I couldn't remember Memento.
You needed a mnemonic to remember.
Sorry, hold on. I had it tattooed on my arm. I forgot.
Right. That one, I've heard, or maybe I'm thinking of Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction's kind of cut weird, right?
It is, yes.
I've heard that there was a DVD version where you could watch it in order.
And it's just not that good.
I don't know. That's a good case for this magic because would Pulp Fiction be as good or different? If you never had seen it and you just saw it in chronological order.
Yeah. So the class that I teach at UK, it's on information literacy and critical thinking. And I actually show a video where somebody who works for Pixar talks about how important it is to cut a movie. And when they first did their initial rough draft of Finding Nemo, they didn't do the reveal for the motivation for Nemo's dad as to why it was so important that he kept Nemo. And it was a big reveal at the end that his wife had died and that Nemo was the only surviving egg. And audiences hated the movie. They didn't relate to the dad. They felt like he was controlling and that he was manipulative. And by taking that sequence as the big reveal and putting it at the very front end of the movie, all of a sudden everybody understood the motivation and he became a sympathetic character.
Wow.
And it completely changed the audience perception of the movie. So I do think how you cut absolutely affects that end product for sure.
I'm sure. Yeah. Memento's interesting too because part of the story is going forward in time, the other part's going backward. And it was cut in a way to make you kind of feel
what he felt.
Okay.
So any watching or knowledge of the ending prior to watching completely changes the experience.
Yeah. And I've gone back and rewatched it and it's a very different movie. You don't get the same effect, but I'd put we've talked about 12 Monkeys, my favorite time travel. I'd put that on there just to experience it again. Usual Suspects because it has such a cool reveal at the end. Sixth Sense maybe would be that too. But I also think like Butterfly Effect, Ashton Kutcher breaking away from the kind of the silly jock boy, whatever,
demonstrating he's got some genuine acting chops besides just surfer dude.
Yeah, and I thought it was a really good movie. And again, it's got the time travel-y stuff in it, and it'd be fun to just kind of watch it for the first time again.
Now, movies that I would forget because I hated them. The Ring.
Oh, really?
That terrified me.
Okay.
That movie made me swear off horror. And if you're a horror movie fan, let me know in the comments why I'm wrong. But I saw that movie, and for days afterwards, I was like, why did I watch that? I would take a shower, and I would imagine the scene in the shower, and it was like, I felt like I just paid money to have trauma. Like,
I'm not a big horror fan genre. I can't really think of any I would undo for that reason. There's certainly movies I've watched, and I'm like, did I seriously just waste 2 hours on this?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure I would get much out of just watch that movie. But is there a movie I've seen that I just want to unsee? I don't know. Probably.
Maybe you did, and you've already forgotten.
Maybe we already did this.
You are listening to The Soapbox. I'm Paul.
And I'm Eric.
This all started out with a list. What's that all about?
So I've compiled a list over the years of things that just bother me, things that grind my gears. And I shared that list with you.
And I thought, you know what? That would make interesting conversation. Sometimes I'm going to want to agree with you, and it's just going to be something we talk about. Other times, though, I'm going to want to steel man the opposite position because I think that's just interesting conversation.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I'm always right, but Paul's just a really good debater.
Hey.
2026. Pick famous actor, a remake of a movie that you saw in the 80s, and all the original cast is back except for the ones that died, and it's you just get goosebumps seeing it, right? You're like,
Back to the Future, right?
Back to the Future 4 with Tom Holland playing Marty McFly, and
guest appearance by Michael J. Fox.
Right.
Yeah,
and you've got, I mean, even sometimes, most of the time, it's just a still image that clearly looks AI. And but sometimes there's like a video, and the Back to the Future one in particular was, I'm not saying it was believable, but it caught me. I was like, oh.
It was believable enough you were willing to suspend disbelief.
Yeah. And more so I see, Twins 2 with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger reprising their role in 2026, right?
Can I go down a rabbit vortex here for a second? We talked about this, maybe not on the podcast, but rather than rabbit hole or rabbit trail, I'm just going to start saying rabbit vortex just to sidestep the whole thing.
There you go.
Twins. I hate that movie.
Really?
And I'll tell you why I hate that movie.
Would you unsee it, though? Right.
I wish everybody else would unsee it. And the actual movie itself I have no problem with, except the existence of the comparison as a short twin.
Ah, right. Yeah,
because it doesn't happen as often as it used to. The more time that exists between when that movie first was new and when I started receiving this comparison, certainly it was a lot more popular back in the day, but I still occasionally will hear, "Oh yeah, you're like the Danny DeVito."
Oh God,
like,
really?
Even Danny DeVito doesn't want to be Danny DeVito,
right?
And Dan, if you're listening, you're not Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're tall, but come on, come on.
That's funny. So did Dan ever sing the? Tonight is your night, bro. Tonight is your night. That was like
he did not, but if he's listening to this, he's probably going to now, just to kind of just rub it in a little bit more.
Well, that was an interesting twist on the characters, because Danny DeVito was the seasoned, worldly person, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, grew up in a lab, right? So, the virgin Arnold Schwarzenegger had no idea how to talk to women, and Danny DeVito's like, "Hey, I got you, bro."
Which is just also wild.
Yeah.
I mean, he did well with Taxi and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but
interesting. Anyway.
I've never thought of him as suave.
No, and I think they were just saying in comparison to someone
who's never been in the world and met a female. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so you'll see and I don't think I've seen a poster for Twins 2. Maybe I have, I don't know. But I mean, just pick any movie that you've seen and it was never going to have a sequel or an additional one. It's like trolling, right? I mean,
it's a little bit. I think there's multiple things that are happening simultaneously because there's different people with different motives creating these things. I think you do have folks that are trolling. I think you've got folks that are farming engagement.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think farming engagement is something we'll probably touch on frequently in today's episode after
taking shots.
We all take a shot. But I also think that you've got just fans who want to see it happen.
Yeah.
They've got a vision for their fan fiction, and they've got a mechanism for creating something that previously did not exist.
Right.
Fan fiction has always existed.
Yeah.
But it's existed for a long time, and maybe not always, but now we've got the ability to bring something into the world using AI, and a well-trained AI can create a pretty compelling version of that thing. And I think a lot of times the fans know the material better than the people that might become the genuine stewards of the IP. Right. So they're going to maybe make a trailer that's more compelling than the next generation of filmmakers who are trying to please the algorithm in the international markets. And maybe they just got handed this project and they're not that passionate about it, so they don't understand why people like it.
Yeah.
which is what the movie industry is.
I know we nerd out on Star Wars a lot in here, but that's kind of interesting because some of the elements in the newer Star Wars things have taken from, not necessarily from fan fiction, although possibly, but from books, the expanded universe or whatever, where you've got a great character like Thrawn that was just plucked from a book by Timothy Zahn.
Yeah,
that just he was a fan. He was a fan writing about Star Wars, basically getting permission and whatever. So it was official, but
official, but not canon.
Yeah, not necessarily canon. So you probably have more cases of like that where people have made even a script or something that Hollywood has said, huh, okay.
I think that bleeds into other domains. I know we just talked about music the last time we recorded, but the lead singer of Journey, when he passed away, they got a Journey super fan.
Yeah, that's true.
And this guy sounded so much like the original singer. I'm drawing a blank on his name. It doesn't matter. Not a huge Journey fan, but
wasn't he like Malaysian, like an island somewhere?
Maybe.
Anyway,
yeah.
Okay.
What I know about him is he does such an homage that they are now touring, and everybody has just accepted him.
I think the drummer for Primus also, I believe he was a fan, and because Herb famously stepped down from Primus drumming. I don't remember the reasons, but they got someone through audition, and since we never talk about Tool. The band, Tool? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Tool, you said?
Tool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Their bass player, Justin Chancellor, was a fan of Tool when he was bassist for Peach.
Okay.
So there's actually a photo somewhere of Justin Chancellor wearing a Tool shirt because they were playing with them or opening for him or whatever, and it's now it's weird.
And I think they utilize some of this, going back to just the fake internet content. I think they utilize the mass reactions.
Yeah.
One famous example is the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which was a real trailer, and everybody said this is garbage. And folks started making their own version of what they thought it should look like.
Uh-huh.
And the movie studio that produced it listened. They went back and reanimated all of the scenes with Sonic, making him more true to the video game version in terms of the look. People loved it, and they loved it so much they've made 3 of them now.
Wow. Okay.
And it would have just absolutely tanked in its initial iteration, but by sort of crowdsourcing what the fans want and getting people to get on board with that, I think they did a really big course correction.
Yeah.
Probably cost them quite a bit to reanimate, but it
Maybe
paid
off.
dividends.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, the one that kind of struck me with this whole, epidemic, as it seems, is Spaceballs 2.
Oh yeah.
And now,
what was it? The journey for more cash or something like that?
The search for more money.
The search for more money.
Wow, you were like right
That was
there.
really close.
Yeah, so Spaceballs is it's a family favorite. My daughter and I, we geek out over it. We've done Spaceballs trivia before, and it's she's totally into it, and we have a lot of fun. And of course, I saw the thing about Spaceballs 2, and I'm like, of course, first the search for more money. That's not really a very good tagline. I think they decided to not use that, but I think there is. Well, I think there is an official Bill Pullman and Rick Moranis is like coming out of retirement for it.
Wow.
And then they got John Candy's son.
I saw that. Now, I didn't like the photo shoot they did because they didn't do a really good job of making him look like Barf.
Yeah, well, and is he supposed to be Barf or?
He's got to be his kid. There's no way they're going to just...
Yeah.
You think?
I don't know. I mean,
he does favor his father.
Yeah, well, and you've got makeup you could do, and the photo shoot could have just been like a...
They just had some
proof
props.
of concept, yeah. But no, I'd really like to see Spaceballs 2. I think would be fantastic. I especially Mel Brooks is still with it.
We may have corrected enough culturally that we can make comedy again.
Yeah.
Like we may have just gotten past wokeness enough that now we can make jokes.
Make funny again.
We'll see.
Make Hollywood funny again.
Make funny great again. How many people can we offend in this one little segment?
You're right, though. There has been kind of, the guys on SmartList talk about it all the time, about how like comedy movies are just, comedy is now just an addition to the other genre. So it's an action movie or it's a whatever, drama. But
I would blame Marvel for that a little bit. I think Marvel got a little cheeky and it worked for time, and then they just made it a formula, and now everything's trying to shoehorn in these quippy one-liners.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's true. And of course, James Gunn likes to really, really goof it up, which I like. I'm here for it. I'm just kind of tired of the stale Marvel stuff, and I'm ready for this
something fresh,
something silly.
So let's pivot for a moment here, and let's talk about something related to this, I think, because a lot of these things are human generated, but I think a lot more now are AI generated. And we talked about farming engagement.
Yeah.
I brought up a term right before.
I mean, I didn't talk about it.
Well, I said we.
Oh yeah.
The royal we. But I brought up a term right before we hit the record button, and this isn't something that you had too much to say about, but have you heard the term dead internet theory, or is this something you're not familiar with?
No. I mean, I'm not familiar. At least I think I'm not familiar.
Yeah. So the idea is that, and I think this is a conspiracy theory. So obviously put on your tinfoil hat and let your mileage vary depending upon your own individual experience. But the idea is around 2015, 2016, and some people say as late as 2017. The majority of the content that you see on the internet is not made by people.
Yeah.
And it's not engaged with actual people.
Yeah.
And you may kind of have a sense of this based on the comments section. You might be reading comments under, a Facebook post or a YouTube video, and something seems off.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like people are interacting with each other, responding directly to the post or to somebody else's comment. But even more insidious than that, news articles that you're clicking on, full videos, even the narration of the videos, nothing is organic. Because if it is produced by a person, they're using non-human tools to make it. And oftentimes it may not even be produced by a person. So the whole internet has kind of jumped the shark in the sense that its purpose is waning. It's now by machines for machines, because they got to get that advertising revenue. And consequently, I think advertisers have largely spun down what an ad buy's value is, which I've personally seen on YouTube with my channel. Because I used to make money on YouTube, and I haven't made money for several years now because the type of content that people are producing is tailored to the algorithm.
Yeah.
And that algorithm is always changing.
It's interesting. One of the things I saw recently was I was on some Facebook group about effects pedals, guitar instrument pedals, and they have one of those like cheesy background, and then just a question like what's the one pedal on your board you can't live without, blah. And someone in the comments said it's interesting that we have AI generated like group questions now.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really thought about it before, but like this bot is basically just trying to drum up engagement, right? It's like it's not even a person in the group asking the question.
Yeah, and I see this on my timeline as well. If you scroll through Facebook, you see post after post after post from groups that you're not even a member of.
Right. Yeah.
Because they just think you'll stop, you'll hover for a moment, you'll engage.
Yep.
You're willing to look at the ad that's next to that group if you continue on.
Another thing that I find this kind of breaks my brain a little bit, but I've noticed on the Facebook app there's now a just friends feed button, which is crazy because like for years I've wanted that, because that I don't really care what's happening for these public pages and this ads or whatever, but I just want to see my friends. And now there's a button for it, and nobody uses it because
it's not the default.
It's not the default. It's just it's boring, I guess.
Well, yeah, now we're trained on the engagement because we're getting a better sense of, a better hit of dopamine when we see that political thing, or my algorithm really likes showing me people doing stuff with barbecues.
Okay.
Which I'm not even a big smoker, barbecue guy, pit boss, whatever, but I just like it.
Yeah. I've kind of succumbed to some things like that, like skateboard. Like I'm inundated with skateboard videos, which is awesome. It's kind of like reliving kind of the past, but yeah, I never told it skateboard. It's picked this up probably by random.
Yeah.
And the other one that's really strange too is you'll take a movie, and of course you've got movie that's 16:9, and now, well, that's weird.
A movie like Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah, like so, and then they'll do the classic Reels thing where they'll show I guess it's 9:16. It's the other way. It's the vertical.
Sure.
They'll do a vertical, cropping of a movie clip, or not even a movie clip, and they'll basically, with AI narration, because it's AI because it's mispronouncing certain things. It's almost like it's watching the video and trying
telling you what's happening,
explaining it to you, and it's like ruining the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure what the movie name is. I think you have to click on it and you get into I'm sure if you get in the weeds, there's like a way to
I've seen one or two of these where it's like, the boy showed up at high school and the bully confronted him. And you're like, what
is happening here?
Stop. Who's making this, and who's the intended audience?
I don't get it. It's well,
this must be like a Gen Alpha thing. They're just so lazy they can't even find context clues without just being fed the narrative.
That, and they're ruining the movie. If you go through like, man, this is really cool. And then boom, they just told you the ending to the movie, and now it's like, well, shoot.
Now what?
Now I've already seen it.
And I don't know what it's called because you gave me no context.
It's like the Cliff Notes of movies. Yeah,
terrible. So another thing this sort of leads to is this idea of loss of organic community.
Oh, was this was one of our AI suggested? No,
okay. just one of my points on this whole idea of the dead internet, because at one point in time, there was a Facebook group that I was a part of, and it was Photoshop requests.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it was cool because somebody would send an old picture in of their grandfather, but it had been weathered and torn up, and I could use tools to sort of meticulously go through and make it new again. And then I could be proud to give this to this stranger on the internet just because I enjoyed the process of doing it, and it gave them something that they found benefit in. Everybody's feeling really great about the community. Mm-hmm. And then things get a little big. A bunch of people jump in. Couple of inside jokes go way too far, and the next thing you know, you've got these fake accounts that are just spamming engagement, trying to get followers. You've got folks that are abusing inside jokes. The whole organic nature of the community is ruined. The whole point of the community is ruined by an excess of just garbage.
Yeah, and then of course you have, those few guys that just leaned into the funniness, the humor in like, oh, can you make me look taller in this photo? Or make me the same height as my sister.
And then make them both incredibly short.
Or stretch their neck or whatever. And so that probably came out of that group or groups like that.
And those sorts of jokes I appreciate. Yeah. But what I don't appreciate is when somebody's got a legit, like, this is my dead grandmother. Mm-hmm. And then there's like, oh, let's do dead grandma with the long neck.
Yeah.
Let's
Yep.
Let's vet these just a little bit better.
And now how many of obviously there's some real Photoshop talent, and I know you have plenty of that, but some of these things now AI can do, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of things I used to do manually that I don't have to do anymore. Yeah. So if you want to take an image out of another image, let's say you want to take a subject off of a background so that you can enhance the background, or you can put them on a different background, or you want to do a funny head swap or something like that, I would use manual tools, go in there with the lasso and, select pixel by pixel sometimes just to get the perfect crop. And now it's just like object select tool, bloop, bloop, you're done.
Yeah.
And you can use AI, replace this background with a sunny day. And it does a fair job. And if it didn't get it right the first time, it gives you, three different iterations, and then you can just generate again if you don't like those three. So there's a lot of laziness that's now going into this content production.
Well, but there's advantages, I think, too, in the sense that like all of the album art that you produce for these episodes, that mostly AI generated?
It's
mostly.
I would say about 20% AI.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I would say there's about 80% just stock images, Adobe stock.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm not out there taking original photographs for the podcast, but I definitely am utilizing stock libraries and then just zhuzhing them up as I see.
Yeah, well, I mean, it saves time in terms of us actually having the energy to put into these out. So
now, one thing I like about the stock library is they give you the option to filter out the AI produced content. So you can actually use that stock image that's paying an artist or paying a photographer if that's something that you're passionate about. But I have a different take on AI in general. And I've said this to you before. If everybody's only using AI to produce things and AI is only trained on things that people are producing, then you're going to get this copy of a copy effect where things become more and more homogenous. And you have written it down.
Copy of a copy, folks.
A copy.
I was going to go there. We've talked about this a couple episodes ago or so, and I conceded that that's a good point. But the more I've thought about it, the more I do worry about that. Yes, I feel like I would argue. Oh no, maybe we talked about this at Summit.
Yes,
that's what it was. So okay, unpack. Maybe can I unpack it a little bit?
Sure.
So I think the argument was, if we don't have free will, then how do we get creativity? And I was making the argument, well, I think our creativity, thinking we don't have free will, at least from my argument here, is our creativity comes from things we see, things we observe. We're not generating everything out of whole cloth, right? I mean, it's inspired by something. So even though we don't have free will, you're still a creative person in the sense that you're taking things you've observed and creating something with it. Now, after a time where AI is doing essentially the same thing, it's scouring the internet. Okay, most of the content is human generated, but as we go on, and I'll get your read on this, the more and more AI generated content, the more the AI is just kind of feeding off of itself and making a copy of a copy. And at some point, it's just going to be, I don't know what.
I think it may get worse. Now, maybe they can account for that. I do believe that humanity's distinct advantage over the machine right now is the idea of novel association. Mm-hmm. Maybe the machine can be programmed for that, but I think a lot of creativity is less about not having completely original source material, but being able to make novel associations between things. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think the human creativity is it flourishes where the machine maybe does not. And you've heard poets wax and wane over, has there ever been a sentence spoken that nobody else has said before, that sort of thing. Yeah. And people pine over this idea of being original. And I think originality is largely overrated. There are whole communities on the internet where you can put a picture of yourself out there and somebody's going to find your doppelganger for you. Right. And when you're a bald white guy, it's really easy because we all look alike. But I think the divine spark, or however you want to frame this idea of human creativity does come from the fact that we're adding just a little something. Mm-hmm. And that little something is what differentiates what we can make versus what the machine can make.
I like your phrase, that novel connection.
Novel association. Because that to me sidesteps having to kind of create something just, something from nothing.
Yeah. Like the universe. But instead of saying that you're free to think of something you've never thought of before, or seen before, or heard of before, I think is pretty far fetched, I think. But to make a connection between things that maybe you've never seen them connected, that's novel. That's interesting. That's a good point. Yeah.
Nice.
And maybe AI will get there.
I know they're working on a generalized super intelligence, and I'm hearing dates like 2026, which is just on the horizon.
I mean, some of the advantages that it has, could be the randomness, which I would even argue it's
not truly random.
Not truly random anyway. But to your point, though, you could associate things kind of iteratively, like just and within a split second, do the same thing the human's doing, but do it 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times over, and then picking out the good ones. And I don't know.
Yeah. So a lot of scary potential there. Let's go a different direction now, because we're talking about the AI and we're talking about just individual actors. But what about those that have an agenda? So I'm thinking twofold. I'll start with one evil and lead to another. All right. Corporations and the government. So we've got two different groups with different agendas. One to make money, the other to make money and pretend like it's philanthropic. But they're getting on the internet. They're creating stuff, content, engagement, farming engagement. It's all about the ad buys. But then you've also got folks that are just trying to sort of push maybe a social or political agenda.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and affect an election or
absolutely. Yeah. And I think we've largely avoided getting into the mainstream political discussions on here, but I think this would at least be worth mentioning that there was the whole Russia collusion thing, and that turned out to not be true. And so you do have a lot of folks that are trying to influence the opinions of the masses, and this is a very effective tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And at a time, particularly the 2016, it was pretty new in this use of it, right? I don't think anyone was kind of ready for it to have that big of an impact. So I think, a few elections later, I think we were a little more protected or aware.
Skeptical, maybe.
Skeptical. And I think even, Facebook, Twitter, X, all these things, did things for better or for worse, affect those algorithms. But
the one that I thought was a big positive to come out of this was the community notes. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar with community notes, I think this came from Twitter, even before Twitter was X.
Yeah.
And it was this notion that if an idea got challenged, rather than just having one central governing body of censorship, you just put it out before the community and you let everybody kind of decide democratically whether an idea sinks or swims. And this later got adopted, actually pretty recently rather, got adopted by Zuckerberg with Facebook. Mm-hmm. They got rid of the moderated content in favor of the community notes. Mm-hmm. Which it's not perfect.
Yeah.
But I think it's an improvement over the black box.
It also, though, is suspect to, susceptible, I should say, to these bots and things, right? So
yeah, and obviously, if you've just got a collective of people with an agenda, they can probably still ratio somebody, and that can be problematic too, because that's going to influence groups of people to kind of grab their pitchforks and their torches and go after certain accounts or individuals or ideas.
I feel like there was talk fairly recently about having some way to prove your identity, tying your profile to Social Security or something. And I think any which way you slice this, you're going to open up cans of worms in other things. But
my freedom hurt.
Right. And then there's even like dangers, safety reasons to not have it, traceable or whatever have you. I'm sure there people have thought of different downsides to this, but actually having, at least, and I know you've got the official badge or whatever you can put on a page,
a blue check mark.
Yeah, and I mean that works fine for public figures and people of that nature, but for just having you're in a group and you're upvoting or downvoting a certain thing, It'd be nice to know what percentage of those votes were.
Are you saying that I should have to have an ID to vote? How dare you? Trampling my rights.
Right.
What about the people that can't get one?
Right. Well, and now it sounds like mail-in voting is going to be challenged. Which
we're getting too political. Let's pivot.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of. I like the idea, one, of requiring an ID, because I don't think children should be on social media.
I mean,
I think that it's got it like driving.
Driving, yeah.
It's got ramifications that can be life impacting, life altering, life ending.
Like owning a gun.
Well, I mean, honestly, let's let all of these ideas into the wild and then use the same governing body of logic for anything that has its negative potential.
Yeah. Having a baby.
Did you just go pro eugenics? Oh. And this is why we no longer have subscribers and we have been canceled. This episode just got us canceled.
All right, you had a pivot.
Having an ID for a social media account. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I do think that, the internet is still very much the Wild West. It's less so than it used to be, but still more so than it needs to be. The impacts of the type of content that's out there, access to strangers, the communities that grow, all this is stuff that has deep societal impacts. And it's largely been immune to regulation because, I've got a First Amendment right to do that. Well, do you?
Right.
I mean, one, it's not necessarily a First Amendment issue because it's not protecting your speech governmentally. It's a private corporation and it's a platform, right? But two, it's not there to protect you from the consequences of your free speech. And this is something in the free speech argument that hardly gets the attention that it deserves. I have the right to say it is different than I have the consequences I'm going to have to endure for having said it.
Right. The fire in a crowded theater kind of a argument, right?
Absolutely. But when it comes to things like cyberbullying and the anonymous nature of having an account where you don't feel like you're going to have any repercussions for your words, I think there's a huge disconnect. And I think that having that account associated with you as a person, undeniably associated with you as a person, may alleviate some of those issues.
So I think we've talked about Mr. Walker, Mr. Driver before, where you have Goofy, who walking down the street doesn't even step on an ant. He's the nicest guy in the world.
Oh, I remember these cartoons.
He gets behind the wheel and it's road rage and blah. There's something about that window, and this is an interesting parallel, I think, because you put that windshield in front of you, and now you're kind of like you're separated from the world in that sense, and that's what you get, I think, on social media, and then but both of these, driving the car requires an ID. So I mean, it's kind of like we've experienced this before. We just, like you said, it was the wild, wild west when,
and it truly was.
It was.
Back when you were driving with horses on the road.
It's true. It's true. But yeah, I don't think anyone ever. Certainly, I don't think anyone ever predicted where social media would be. 15, 20 years later. And it's definitely. Oh, and I do remember when it was. Yeah, I remember you used to have a university email address to sign up for Facebook account.
Yes.
So it started. I'm like, wow, we're going to go full circle here. It started as you had to prove
that you were a real person and validate with some sort of measure.
Here's a little rabbit vortex for you. I find that having an @UKY, particularly at something.edu, as we both do, comes with some really interesting benefits.
Yes. So like right before we hit the record button, I happened to pull up a episode of another podcast. Is this public information? Should I be talking about it yet? Yeah. So Lanny and Horse have got what is it? Bet small, win big.
No, bet small, lose small.
Bet small, lose small. See, I'm trying to make it more positive. Yeah. Bet small, lose small. I was just pulling it up on my Spotify because we were talking about it before we hit record, and
the EDU account.
The EDU account, like it surfaces. It actually says, "Hey, are you currently enrolled as a university student?"
Yeah.
I guess implying that they want to offer me a discount.
Yeah.
Now I clicked yes, very dishonestly, because I'm like, give me that discount, and then nothing happened. But
yeah, I got a discount on Verizon for being a teacher. I teach one class a year, but I was with AT&T. I had to show a syllabus and do all this stuff. With Verizon, I basically just put in my email address, created a My ID account or something like that, and I think someone, whether it was automated or someone just saw the at uky.edu, just rubber stamped it, like, yeah. So there, I mean, I would dare say what,
30,000 people here that
right?
have that.
And how many of them are students, and then how many of them are just staff,
Faculty, employees of some variety. Yeah.
So just having that email address, I think, gives you kind of a foot in the door to a lot of opportunities where it's not worth the trouble to try to have a stronger vetting process, because what are you gonna? I know they have a lot of deals for students, and the trick with students though is they can time out.
Yeah,
they
know that you're going to graduate in 4 or 5 years, depending on your.
So
your
they
journey.
can I for a long time had the Amazon deal where it was a super inexpensive Amazon Prime, all of the shipping and all the stuff, and I had it because I was a student, but I had to submit my transcript every semester or year or whatever it was.
So with credentials, I guess that maybe would solve another problem that I've seen in this domain, and that's cloned accounts. Mm-hmm. How many times have you received a friend request from somebody that you were already friends with?
And they have the same profile picture.
Yeah, and convincing enough.
Yeah.
Like, actually, and this is resurfaced for me. In June, I deactivated my Facebook account, deleted it. I was done with it for a while. Decided, you know what? I'm going to get back on the machine.
By the way, before he deactivated his account, he did not invite all his friends to like and subscribe to SoapBoxLex. I'm just saying.
Missed opportunity. So yeah, if you get that invite now, just know Eric made me do it, and I'm sorry for harassing you. Take a shot.
Yeah, of course. And now you've lost your train of thought, right?
I haven't, though I do frequently. A lot of people approached me and said, "Is this really you?" I think I got maybe half a dozen text messages. I just got.
Yeah,
it's going to be a long shot here.
So, to paint the picture, so a lot of people probably didn't notice you deactivated your account, right?
Because they'd already unfollowed me because of all my political rants.
Well, there's that. But the ones that didn't, the 4 or 5 that didn't, they probably didn't notice that your account was gone, and they see the new one come in, and they're immediately. Yeah. Because that was a thing for long. It
still is. I saw day before yesterday, my mom posted, "Somebody's cloned my account. Don't accept a friend request from me."
Yeah,
it's so
annoying.
If we had that ID requirement, some sort of method of validation, I think that we could solve a lot of issues.
Well, I'm going to kind of burst the bubble on anyone here and tell them that we've actually been reading a transcript this whole time. And this whole entire episode was AI generated based on ChatGPT. So there you go.
How many fingers am I holding up? How many fingers? We've got a brand new website. What is that site?
That is SoapBoxLex.com.
So you can check us out on the web. You can also check us out on your favorite streaming platforms, including...
we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, and we're on Amazon. And of course,
if you want to check us out and actually see what you're listening to, we do have video as well on YouTube. And I don't know if you knew this, but Spotify does video too.